Are you serious? Are you serious? The sun has just exploded. I mean, let me tell you all about it. It's massive solar flare, radiation, radioactive. Let me just time out. Let's talk about some other stuff. I'm going to go right there in just a minute. Expect an earthquake at any moment. But here, first, let's check this out. Go to www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. Collagen is often referred to as our modern day fountain of youth, and for a good reason. Supplementing this powerful nutrient can bring back the youthful glow to our skin, our hair, and our nails. My favorite source of collagen comes from this amazing mix that I highly encourage my audience to try. It's made by BioTrust, and it's at www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. It uses a unique blend of the top 5 critically important, most important types of collagen that our bodies need to help bring back that youthfulness into our skin, hair, and nails. Order it today to get a bundle of benefits by going to www.healthwithpaul.com, including 51% off. If you'll do it now, you'll be so thankful and happy that you did what I asked you to do. Okay, you really will. Let's get ahead of this. Let's get ahead of it with your health. You need your health. All right. So, yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on, to say the least. And it's not going to get better, folks. It's going to get worse. Okay? It really is going to get worse. So, and be prepared for Feast of Pentecost that's coming up. Feast of Pentecost, get your offerings in with your special prayer request. Send them into our website. Just go to paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's paulbegleyprophecy.com. Or pick up the phone and call the number at 877, at 765, sorry about that, 765-414. 2230. That's 765-414-2230. You can call in or you can go to my website. You can give your best offering for your Passover with your special prayer request. Just put Passover in the notes, put your special prayer request, or call it in or send it in by mail. It's Feast of Pentecost offering. I'm going to take these requests with me to Israel May 26th through the 28th. The Feast of Pentecost. You can start sending them in now. And we'll print those prayer requests out and we save them and take them with us when we go to Israel later this year, Lord willing. Okay, now let's talk about what's going on right now with this massive solar flare, incredible solar flare, really. It just exploded on the scene. All right, right now as we speak, I'm going to get you up to the second. Right now, the speed of the sun's winds, the solar flares, the solar winds are blowing 461.1 kilometers per second. So this partially eclipsed X flare that just erupted on the sun, its Earth orbiting satellites have just detected that this X-class solar flare from a sunspot group hiding behind the sun's southeastern limb. In fact, the explosion was probably an X-class, howbeit partially eclipsed by the edge of the sun. NASA's Solar Dynamic Observatory recorded the extreme ultraviolet flash, and that's what it was. It was extreme. Now, although the underlying sunspot is hidden from view, it nevertheless managed to touch the Earth. Radioactive, radiation iodized the top of our planet's atmosphere, causing a massive shortwave radio blackout over North America. Ham radio operators and aviators have noticed loss of signal and other unusual propagation effects for up to an hour after the peak of this flare. The source of this explosion may be the same far side sunspot we discussed back on May the 12th. If so, the sun's rotation should turn it to face the Earth after this week. So we're gonna feel this one, okay? Now, it was an X-class 1.1. They have since just barely lowered it to an M class 9.6, but let's just say it's an X class solar flare. And that is an incredible amount of energy. Cosmic rays, UV rays, explosive radiation that comes up on the scene. Now, solar filaments are outnumbered the sunspots. If there is an explosion on the sun today, and there was, it might not come from a sunspot, but an unstable magnetic filaments. And we're yet to find out if that's the case, which actually poses a greater threat, because Michael Borman of Evansville, Indiana, took a photo that showed at least 20 dark filaments scattered around the solar disk of the sun. Now, this means there are about 3 times more filaments than sunspot groups, with a half a dozen directly facing the Earth. Famously unstable, solar filaments are twisted tubes of magnesium filled with dense plasma. Their eruptions can hurl massive CMEs into space. Sometimes the debris falls back to the surface of the sun, triggering what's called a Hyder flare, 2 explosions for the price of 1. And this illustrates the potency of these structures. The severe geomagnetic storm that we had back on April 23rd of this year was caused by a filament eruption, not by a sunspot. So what we're thinking is today's massive solar flare, which was a massive one, smacks the Earth, could be from a filament instead of a sunspot. And if that's the case, folks, you're looking at something that, way more potent, way more charged particles, way more UV rays and radiation that can really boil the top of the skin of a human being. It's like a microwave if it hits. And it also brings a lot more pressure than just your normal solar flare CME from a sunspot. It can literally bring an earthquake of biblical proportion onto the scene. Now, some would argue against that. Some scientists would say, oh, Begley, you're over-exaggerating that by far. But I'm not, because we've seen it too many times. We've seen it too many times. Everybody just calm down, get some coffee, but we've seen it way too many times. And it seems to be more and more frequent as we get closer to the end of the age, as we get closer, as we become so enthralled by these biblical prophecies, by these apocalyptic, cataclysmic, catastrophic events of biblical proportion that seem to be taking place. Scientists, all scientists would argue against some of this documentation, but then they can't argue whenever the earthquakes follow. And it happens so many times. They know there's a connection between the CMEs and the earthquakes. And they also know that the UV rays is like a microwave now, starting to burn the surface of the skin. That's why the Bible said in the last days, the Bible talks about the sun would become so violent that it would burn men and would hurt them for 5 months, and they would gnaw their tongues for pain. It's like being zapped with a microwave, and it don't hit all over the earth at the same time. It's in different special locations, periodically. You never know when it's going to be, but overall, it's raising the heat of the surface of the earth. It's also, you have the planet X factor, and planet X and that gravitational pull on the earth, bringing the core of the earth's surface closer. I mean, bringing the magma, bringing the lava, the magma to the crust of the earth, creating crustal displacement even by pulling the crust apart. Well, there's your earthquakes, there's your volcanoes, there's your insane situations developing here. It just look at North America over my shoulder. Just look at North America over my shoulder there. It's just incredible to me. I mean, it's just incredible to me. The heat, the pressure, the warmth, the burning sensation, right over the United States of America, North America, Canada's getting Central America. I mean, we're getting hit hard. So just stay awake, because an earthquake could happen at any moment. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to the earthquake map right now and just take a quick peek at it. We did have a 5.0 a few minutes ago in Mexico, and it was pretty shallow, and that's a pretty good sized quake. We also had a 5.0 hit in Papua New Guinea. These two earthquakes have happened since that solar flare smacked the earth, and we haven't experienced the fullness of the pressure of this solar flare eruption. We have not seen the fullness of the pressure. So in the next 12 hours to 24 hours, you better watch very closely, because this is the time when these things can really spin out of control. Guys, I also got to tell you, there's 14 active severe weather warnings in play right now in the United States, in the states of Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. We have 14 active severe weather warnings with potential for tornadic activity. Matter of fact, there is a tornado 10 minutes ago spotted near Jonesville, Virginia. That one was in Jonesville, Virginia, and that's our first tornado spotted this evening. There's a lot of severe thunderstorms going on in Georgia, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Pike, Kentucky, Wise, Virginia, Lee, Scott, Virginia, Carroll, Floyd, and Montgomery and Pulaski, Virginia, Buckingham and McDowell, Virginia, and Mingo, Wyoming. Okay? Mingo and Wyoming, West Virginia. Carroll, Cobb, Douglas, Fulton, and Paulding, Georgia. Harlan County and Letcher County in Kentucky. Anderson County in South Carolina. Burke, McDonald, and Rutherford counties in North Carolina. Anderson and Knox County in Tennessee. And there's a lot of other places. But the danger zone is right now in Lee, Scott, and Wise County near Jonesville in Virginia. There is a tornado that has been located just over the Pennington Gap near Jonesville, moving up east at 40 miles an hour. This was just 12 minutes ago that this warning was set into play and this tornado was spotted. So we're going to keep a close eye on all these: Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. 14 active severe storms in play. Now, we watch those while keeping an eye on the earthquake map because of the pressure from this solar flare, this massive solar release. It's quite extraordinary, and we're keeping a close eye on all that. You can also send in your Pentecost offering by mail. Just send it to Paul Begley Prophecy. That's Paul Begley Prophecy, 1048-B, 1048-B, Sagamore Parkway West. That's Sagamore Parkway West, Box 33, West Lafayette, Indiana, 47906. And send your prayer request with your best offering for your Feast of Pentecost. And God just requires that nobody come empty-handed. He just says, look, if you got more, you should give more. You'll know what to do. You have less, you give less. It's based on how God has blessed you. You're being responsible. And you know that Jesus rose from the dead, and then on the 50th day after his resurrection, he sent the Holy Ghost. He baptized the church in the power of the Holy Ghost. He sent the Comforter. He sent the Spirit of promise that would be a guide to us, okay? And to help us along in this journey that we're all on, guys. We're all on a journey, and we're all trying to make it to heaven. I'm going to get us a song. We'll be right back, tell you more about this explosive X-class solar flare that certainly is shaking a whole lot of things. There's a whole lot of shaking going on. Oh, let me just check here, please. Give me 1 second. There definitely is a whole lot of shaking going on. The earth is come to this point where we are seeing apocalyptic events take place of a biblical proportion. Are you serious? Are you washed in the blood? It's an X-class.
Have you been to Jesus for the cleansing
solar flare?
Are you washed
downside
of the Lamb? Are you
1.1 to
fully
9.6
trusting in His grace this hour? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Oh yes! Are you walking daily by the Savior's side? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Do you rest each moment in the crucified? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Oh, are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? And be washed in the blood of the Lamb. Come on! When the bridegroom cometh, will your robes be white? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Will your soul be ready for those mansions bright and be washed in the blood of the Lamb? Oh, are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Now lay aside those garments that are stained with sin and be washed in the blood of the Lamb. There's a fountain flowing for the soul unclean. Oh, be washed in the blood of the Lamb. Are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless? Are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Glory! Are you serious?
Oh, I'm very serious, and we're going to keep a close eye. As we said, this was an X-Class 1.1 solar flare that about an hour later was downsized to an M-Class 9.6, which is right at the, 9.6, 9.9 X-Class 1. Okay, so you're right there. So they first said it was an X-Class 1.1. They downsized it to M-Class 9.6. It's an X-Class solar flare. It's powerful. It shut down the ham radios over North America, right there over my shoulder, for about an hour. Really powerful. And we're not sure because, see, this solar flare did not come from sunspots. This came from what looks like these filaments on the sun, which makes them way more harder, slower and harder, because they are from, they're plasma. They're more of a plasma, which is more thicker, but at the same, more slower but thicker, but just very effective. And so the pressure in the next 48 hours, you got to really be careful for an earthquake of biblical proportion. We really do have to watch this. We're going to see what happens. Stay alert, stay awake. Don't forget the webinar. San Diego, June 9th, Supernatural Intelligence, and it's going to be good. Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 will be in San Diego, California on June 9th. Part 2 will be live in Honolulu, Hawaii on June 16th. The speakers will be Pastor Paul Begley. I'm speaking in both Part 1 and Part 2. Heidi Begley speaking in mine is about the 3 unclean spirits, Part 1, Part 2, and the effects on the global world order. Heidi is speaking Part 1, Part 2 on the creepy crypts around the world, the catacombs and creepy crypts that are all over the world. It's going to blow your mind. L.A. Marzulli, incredible presentation on aliens and Nephilim. Mike from the World on supernatural intelligence within the federal government. Mike is speaking twice on part 1 and part 2. Also, Bishop Antonisha Schneider, who's an exorcist for the Vatican, and he will explain what goes on in a real exorcism because he's done them. Also, Mr. Yazi, he is a Navajo Indian who is breaking tradition, breaking taboo, and speaking about skinwalkers. He has seen them. He knows what they are. He tells you about the secrets of the medicine men that are among the Navajo. This is unbelievable. And then there's Bishop Larry Ragland. Bishop Larry Ragland, and he talks about, he's the demon slayer, okay, and gives you a great understanding of demonic possession and demonic affliction. It's very, very powerful, guys. It's very, very powerful. And also, you're gonna see a great presentation from Josh Peck, who's from Skywatch TV, who speaks about artificial intelligence. I mean, he really insane expert on AI and where it started and where it's at now. And then there's Carl Gallups, the great author, who talks about the demons rising from the bottomless pit or from the abyss in the book of Revelation. Also, Israel Hall and Mike Kitterman will be doing praise and worship. Twice you'll get that on part 1 and part 2 from San Diego and from Honolulu. So this is an incredible, it's 2 webinars back to back, and you can get it all for the price of one. You get that one bundled ticket and have it all. Okay, so I don't want you to miss this one. This is really good. June 9th and June 16th, both weekends, an incredible double whammy on supernatural intelligence. Unbelievable, the stuff that's going on right now. You can get your ticket tonight. Go to Eventbrite and get your ticket there. You can either order a ticket for part 1 only, or you can order a ticket for part 2 only, or get the bundle, get it all for a great price. Get both of them and not miss a beat, because this is a ton of information you're going to get in this one. Paul Begley twice, Heidi Begley twice, Mike Around the World twice, L.A. Marzulli, Antonisha Schneider, Bishop Larry Ragland, Josh Peck, and Carl Gallups. Plus, there's live panels with live audience. One's in California, one's in Honolulu. So that makes 13 hours. 13 hours plus praise and worship from both locations. All of it on this webinar. So that's 15 different. And then Bart Begley has a documentary. 16. Unbelievable. This is the largest event we've ever held. It takes 2 weekends to do it, but we felt like it was so important to get it all down that everyone would know exactly where we're at when it comes to super intelligence. We're living, guys, in the last days. I'm just checking to see. I don't know if it's on my website yet or not. Can I just go there and look? Because it may be there. They're working on it. They've been working on it all day. So give me one moment here and let's just see if they've been able to pull it all together and get it on the screen. Let's see. Not yet. Not yet. It's not there yet. But they will have it very, very soon. They're supposed to have it before the evening is over. So we're keep an eye on that. You'll be able to get your tickets if you want to by going to our website at paulbegleyprophecy.com. Certainly you can get them right now if you go to Eventbrite. Just go to Eventbrite and look for Supernatural Intelligence. You can either pick part 1, part 2, or scroll down and pick the bundle and get it all, okay, for a reduced price. All right. Guys, I want to let you go. Stay awake. Stay alert. This is insane what's going on here. We really are concerned about this solar eclipse. It is very powerful. We're not sure what it's going to do. We want everybody to stay alert, to stay awake, because we're living in the last days. Everybody hit the thumbs up right now. Do it now. And be blessed and highly favored. God bless all of you. We love you. Get your feast of Pentecost offerings in with your special prayer request. Remember, the Feast of Pentecost begins May 26th to the 28th. You can start sending your special Pentecost offerings in starting now. You can start already sending them, okay? God bless you. We love you. I'll be back with more current world events, maybe even tonight as things are developing quickly now. Again, that storms, I got to just keep an eye on it because let me just go right back there again. Here we go. There's 18 now. Unbelievable. 18 active storms. And now they're in Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. 8 different states, 18 different active locations. I'm going to see if I can get you just a snapshot of it. If I can, I'm going to see if I can pull this off. Give me one moment here because this is really heat. And right now we had one tornado. Now we got 2 tornadoes. We have one tornado in Pike County, Kentucky, 13 minutes ago. This thing was spotted. The tornado was spotted at 5:29 p.m. Eastern. This tornado was over top of Phelps, Kentucky, moving at 12 miles southeast of Williamson, Kentucky, moving east at 30 miles an hour in Pike County, Kentucky. Also, there's a tornado been spotted back on 5:17 p.m. This one was seen over top of Pennington Gap in Virginia. That's in Lee County, Scott County, and Wise County. So that's the second tornado in play. And there's some more, lot. Now there's 23. Now it's 23 active warnings. They're in Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. So 23 severe warnings. 2 of them are tornadoes that have been spotted tonight. And I tell you, it's starting to get dark even here. Starting to wonder what's going to go on. You've got the solar flare. You got all these things happening now. We've got to stay on top of this because something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. Let me see if I can show you this update here. So give me one moment here, and I think I could be able to show this. Hopefully, and I'll try to even move my chair out of the way so you get a better view of this map, and it'll show you exactly what's going on here. Really dangerous, really dangerous. Okay, right here. Let me move my chair over. You can see there the areas where we have the most concern. Look at Kentucky. Look at eastern Kentucky. That's where Pike County is, and these other counties right here in Kentucky. A lot of activity also here in eastern Tennessee. Also right here in North Carolina. 3 different severe locations here in southern Virginia. You got one up here, right up here on the northeast corner there of South Carolina. There's one just southwest of Atlanta. And down in Florida, let me see if I can get over here. There's some more. Okay. Way down in here in Florida, I can't move my chair all the way out of the way there, but as you can see, these things are, look, very concerning. Now I'm going to hook my chair. Come on. Okay. And now there's a lot of activity here, okay? A lot of activity up here. So I'm in prayer for everybody that are facing these storms of biblical proportion out there, because they are very, very concerning for all of us. So Appalachian Mountain area, you're right. It's up in the Appalachians there. Look at that. Right up in there. Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina, that whole area in the Appalachians. And that's not a good place to have a tornado. Usually you don't get tornadoes because where there's mountains, it usually keeps the tornadoes. They don't like to hover in that area, but the conditions are just right. The solar flares, it's all happening right now, guys. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Give your life to Jesus Christ before we run out of time, okay? Before we run out of time. Lexi Begley, Epiphany. We'll be back with more current world events, how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're watching the storms closely. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're watching the signs of the time. It's almost over. It really is.